Greetings and welcome back. My name is Reverend Cheyenne Kramer, and I am so excited to share with you Connect, Collaborate, and Create Part 2. Hopefully you were here with us for Part 1, but if not, no worries. I'll give you a little bit of a review on the front end just to make sure that we're all moving into this on the same page. For those of you who weren't here the first time, I am an author, a speaker. I'm the CEO of Triangle Solutions Alliance Incorporated and co-founder of the We Care Partnerships Network. And this whole process of connect, collaborate, and create is part of the We Care Partnerships Network. We are here to encourage community development where people actually come together and create solutions together, co-create. You might even call it talking about self-directed work teams. That's where I grew up in corporate America, was in working in a self-directed work team. So you'll hear me talk a little bit more about that as we go through this particular presentation. So glad to have you with us. So honored to be part of the Empowered Women Summit. And let's jump into this. As I said, a quick review. Remember what we talked about with the super puzzle? What if you were designed to create a piece of it? A piece of a super puzzle that if all of us were creating the piece we were designed to create, we would have more health, more wealth, and more peace on the planet. In effect, it's all about creating heaven on earth, and we have the power to do that right here, right now. And we're going to talk more about how that can happen. Just as a brief reminder, again, on my background, I grew up in corporate America. I started there right out of high school. I was very fortunate that my corporation not only put me through a 3-year apprenticeship program where I was able to learn about manufacturing hands-on from the ground up, but they also later paid for me to go to college and paid for my degree. So I was very fortunate to have all those things happen early on in my career. But after going through 2 layoffs with the same company in less than a year, I decided that I needed to start to look at how to create my own work because I was tired of other people having control over my destiny and whether I was working or not. So created my own consulting company, which is what Triangle Solutions Alliance is. It has evolved over the last 2 decades. It now is what we call a social entrepreneur incubator. If you're not familiar with the term social entrepreneur, in our description of it, it's basically a for-profit business that has a social impact mission. That's what we're all about. And we love helping other people to start businesses that are very much in the same vein. And in the past several years, I have become a community college instructor as well as a motivational speaker, and just trying to help get this message out here further and further about the idea that it's our time to find our song, sing our song, and live our song. Because yes, it's all about our heart song. And then when we figure out what our piece of the puzzle is, coming together with other people of like mind to create a super puzzle. That's what gets me jazzed. So out of our challenges, we ended up finding our pieces of the puzzle. My husband and I have been working together for the last 10 years, working with at-risk youth, working with people coming out of the prison system, and working with people in homeless shelters, teaching them about entrepreneurship skills and how anybody can get started as an entrepreneur with little to no money out of pocket. And yes, it is feasible to start businesses with no money out of pocket. And for some people, that is the only option they have when it comes to income generation. So that's the type of puzzle pieces we get excited about building. And of course, this is kind of the key for my husband and I is, we just realize that we have to work on bringing our spiritual nature back into our communities. When you look at the systems we're living in, they all seem to be pulling us further and further away from our spiritual roots, our spiritual core. And, you know, if we wonder why there's so much violence and chaos and depression and suicides and so many sad things going on in the planet, I truly believe it's because we've forgotten who we really are. And that is a spiritual being having a physical experience. That's what it's all about. We have the power to be, do, and have anything we want to be. And so now let's get back to our 3-step process that we call connect, collaborate, and create. Because here's the hint, you were designed in the image and likeness of a creator. There's no reason you shouldn't be creating. To me, it is a true tragedy that, at least in the US, there's nowhere near enough schools that are teaching our young people how to be an entrepreneur, how to be the creator they were designed to be. So my husband and I take that on frequently in working with young people. We've worked with middle schoolers, high schoolers, and when you apply everything in a hands-on learning approach, you'd be shocked at what these kids can learn. They can learn way more than people give them credit for. It's an amazing thing. In our part 1, we spent some time with step 1, connecting with yourself, finding your heart song, which is a direct connect to our creator. We all came here with some kind of a heart song we're supposed to be singing. And if you didn't catch that first session, hopefully you can go back and get a recording of it, because we did talk about the 4 questions that you need to ask yourself to be able to start to identify what your heart song is all about. It's not rocket science. You were born with a specific purpose, and guess what? The things you've been through, the projects and hobbies you love working on, the things that make you angry and sad, they all have something to do with your passions, your purpose, your mission. Put those things together and you'll start to understand what your heart song is all about. We did answer the 4 questions that lead to your heart song, and I just mentioned those briefly. What would you do with a closet full of money that'll never run out? What challenges have you come through in your life where you could provide knowledge, experiences, and wisdom that could help others going through similar circumstances? What projects or hobbies do you enjoy working on? And lastly, what makes you really, really mad or really, really sad? We try to stuff our emotions in a closet and pretend they don't exist. But those emotions are keys to your passions. And your passions are keys to your mission, your purpose. So stop stuffing your emotions under the rug and think about what makes you mad, what makes you sad, and is there a burning desire within you somewhere to be involved in helping to create solutions for those things that make you mad or sad? Think about that. It's powerful. So if you're starting to figure out what your heart song is all about, now it's time to figure out what to do with it. We said this in the last session, I'll say it again. You could lead or follow. Either one is acceptable. Because here's the thing. So many of us think, once we've identified something we're really passionate about, we think we're the only one with that passion. I truly believe the Creator designed us to be working together, to be working in communities. So, yeah, stop thinking that whatever you've identified is for you to do alone. And again, you may be inspired to lead, you may be inspired to start a creation process, but what if it would do you well to start by following somebody else with a similar passion? You could learn a lot from them, you could gain some experience, and out of that, you might find something that you want to initiate in terms of a creation. So think about that. Perhaps you have something to create. Skip the politics and create heaven on earth. That's the book my husband and I just wrote this year. I've written a couple of others. One's called Building the New Underground Railroad, and another one that I was a co-author in, all about finding your purpose and realizing your potential. So you can create something like that, or you can create something like a service-based company like I did with Triangle Solutions Alliance. And then We Care Partnerships is actually a doing business as. It's a separate division under Triangle Solutions Alliance, but it's all part of the same corporation. It's just our community development division. So what if you have something to create? That's a great place to start living your song. Here's another thing for you to think about. Most people don't think about this. What if you had products that you should be adopting to sell? You'd be shocked at the number of people who can find a mission and a purpose in the sale of products. These just happen to be companies my husband and I are affiliated with, and they all fit in the realm of health, wealth, and peace. That's our mission. That's what we're here to help more people find: health, wealth, and peace of mind. And so all of these things are possible through these different products that we have available to sell. Believe it or not, with these various companies, we have over 10,000 products we can sell. And absolutely, some of them, I will tell you without a doubt, it's part of our mission. Some of these products are amazing in terms of their ability to help improve health, help improve wealth, help improve peace of mind. They're amazing. There's many, many companies out here. If you don't believe me, go to a website called DSA.org. Stands for Direct Selling Association, DSA.org. And look at all the companies there and the different kinds of products. There may be something there that should become part of your mission. I invite you to check it out and see. You might be surprised. And do you have a cause? Did you find something in those questions? You know, maybe you've got experience with veterans. Maybe you're a military spouse, or maybe you're a veteran yourself. Maybe you've got experience in some of the causes that are all about women and helping women to advance. Maybe you've got a cause around youth. Maybe it's seniors. Maybe it's about health and wellness and helping people to have more health and wellness. And again, wellness can be body, mind, spirit, finances, relationships. There's probably a few more I haven't thought of. Do you have a cause? Did you find something in those 4 questions that we asked? Because here's the kicker. You could be using your creations or your adoptions to create funds for your cause. People have gotten all wound around the axle thinking that the only way they can have a cause is if they have a nonprofit organization or a non-government organization, as a lot of people talk about in different countries. Nothing could be further from the truth, folks. The fact of the matter is that you can do things in your community using traditional business to help you get there. There's actually a nonprofit organization here in North Carolina, where I am, that does a marvelous job of working with people who have come through substance abuse. They have a 2-year program where they house people for 2 years. They have built a number of businesses, and they've got a moving company, a landscaping company, a Christmas tree sale company, a retail outlet. All of these businesses are selling products and services that help to fund the cause of helping people to get back on their feet after coming through substance abuse. So just understand, even though they're a nonprofit, you can do exactly the same thing without a nonprofit structure. The main thing that that you gain from having a nonprofit structure is that people may be more likely to donate, whether it's cash or whether it's in-kind items. They may be more willing to donate because they can get tax deductions, or at least here in the US they still can. And that's fine. If that's a requirement of the people that you're working with, then go down that path. But just know, anybody can create traditional for-profit business and choose to take the profit of that business and channel it into doing community work. That's what my husband and I are doing. We've got the books that we're selling. We have the services of Triangle Solutions Alliance. We have membership in We Care partnerships. And, you know, we have several direct sales companies that we partner with that are producing multiple streams of income for us. And it doesn't cost us a lot of money to maintain any of these business activities or products. Right now, the Skip the Politics book is only in digital format. It costs me nothing to sell that. Building the New Underground Railroad is on Amazon. I don't have to stock it. People just order direct from Amazon, and Amazon sends me a check. So just understand, you can make your own creations, classes, coaching programs, books, membership organizations. You can use your own creations and create funds for whatever your cause happens to be. Just remember that. It's a powerful truth. And you don't have to go through the time and expense of putting together a 501c3 nonprofit organization to go down this path. So keep that in mind. So part 2 of connecting, first part 1 of connecting in Connect, Collaborate, Create was about connecting with yourself, getting an understanding of what your heart song was all about. But then part 2 of connecting is connecting with other people who share your cause. And I go back to womenleadingfromtheheart.club. That's a place for you to start looking. Because if you've got a purpose and a passion that matches one of the women on this site, there's no reason you can't go to their website, put your contact information in there, and reach out to them to see how you can help them with their vision that they're working on, as a starting place for you to learn more about what you could be doing. Help somebody else. That becomes part of your learning and helping you to understand what your puzzle piece might actually look like. Step 2 in the Connect, Collaborate, and Create process requires us to collaborate with women of like mind. One of the things that was really cool with this group that we took to Washington, D.C. several years ago was we didn't even fully realize what we had created. But we ended up with a bunch of women who were very much into helping our youth. Um, it wasn't planned that way, but every single one of them was doing amazing work to help our youth. Everything from financial literacy and entrepreneurship classes for our youth to, um, being able to work with young ladies with some of the issues of that young women are going through. I mean, just everybody there was engaged in helping our youth. And I met all of these ladies out here because I was networking. I was out going to meetings and meeting these folks. Now, some of them actually showed up in my classes. That was an interesting thing too. But it was just a phenomenal thing how we all had like mind. We all had a desire to be helping our youth in some big ways. So, where and how do we connect with our collaborators? Well, sometimes people get really wrapped around the axle on this too. And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be that difficult. Go to meetup.com. Now, I will say, I had some experiences this summer where I can tell you absolutely the truth. Smaller communities may not have as much going on with meetup.com or eventbrite.com, and even Facebook events. You may not find as many of them in a smaller community. But the larger communities, OMG, they are everywhere. I mean, here in central North Carolina, we have, oh my gosh, hundreds of meetup groups, hundreds of Eventbrite events going on, hundreds of Facebook events listed. They're all places where you can go and meet people and just be on the lookout. Ask people questions. Learn how to become a good interviewer. This is one of the most valuable skills you can learn. Learn how to become a good interviewer. Ask other people questions. Be sincerely interested in learning about people. And my favorite question, if I go to a networking event, I go out to a meeting, my favorite question is always the same one I asked you. If you had a closet full of money that was never going to run out, what would you do with your time? It's a great icebreaker. And guess what? If you start asking that question when you're out and about, you're going to find collaborators, people who have a similar interest, a similar passion, a similar purpose as you. And of course, you can always find people in schools. And let's not forget, you can always find people in churches that have similar interests, similar desires as you. So keep those things in mind and stop thinking that it has to be something real difficult to figure out where to find folks. Now, Facebook, and I didn't put LinkedIn on here, I probably should have, but places like Facebook and LinkedIn have groups. And if you know what your passion and purpose is all about, go looking for groups on these online communities. Look for groups who have similar interests as you. Dive right into them. There's no reason not to. And, let people know that you're interested in collaborating with like-minded people. You'll find them. If you go looking with that intention, you will find them. And more people are realizing they can't do things just by themselves. They've got to have a team. Don't be afraid to become part of somebody else's team. Remember, sometimes the best way to learn how to lead is first to follow and see what somebody else is doing and be there. Help them. The more you help other people get what they want, the more you're going to find ways to get what you want. It's just the way the universe runs. And here's another thought. As you're out meeting people, you may even want to create an email list of women with similar vision. Yes, you could create a Facebook group, a LinkedIn group, whatever, and invite those people into it. But just be aware, social media algorithms are changing all the time. And you never know when something's going to change. It's going to make it really difficult for people to be able to stay in touch through a specific social media outlet. So consider the possibility of creating your own email list of women with a similar vision to yours. You can see here in this slide, this is one of my women leading from the heart. The first one is her video where it talks about her and what her vision and mission and passion is all about. And then on the second part of her page, the lower part, is a place where people can enter their name, their email, and their phone number. And, you know, having an email list where you can be in direct connection with people who want to be working with you is one of the most powerful technology tools that you can create for yourself. And when you create a list of people who've got a similar desire as you, you know, those people will respond when emails go out. I still get pretty good responses on my email list. But they're all people that I've met, people I've dealt with, and they're interested in what I've got going on. When you bring together people with a similar passion and purpose, that's a powerful group. That's a powerful team. That's a powerful connection point. So never underestimate the power of that. And never underestimate the power of creating an email list of people that want to work together. And of course, once you start to find some of these people, you want to try to find out, how might you collaborate? I was in a meeting just today with a gal who I saw a presentation she did the other day, and it blew me away because I recognized that she's building a puzzle piece to a much bigger puzzle that me and several other women are already working on putting together. And you know, that was an amazing thing. So we started talking about an in-person meeting. We're going to invite, and I'm going to tell you, there's at least 15 or 20 women who all have a similar vision. We all have different pieces of this large super puzzle, and it's time for us to come together and click those pieces together. And I think we're going to present it to our local city, because we know of a location that it should happen. And it'll be interesting to present this idea. But the good news is we can meet together, or we can do a virtual meeting on Zoom or on Skype. These are all things where people of like mind can get together in person or online. Gotta admit, it's getting a little easier to get people online these days. In person is getting tougher and tougher. But when you have people of a similar passion, you can see this was a meeting that we had just this past year. We got quite a few people to come out because they all had some similar passions. So just understand, you can get people to come together under a similar passion. Just do it. So when we bring the women together, we look to create cause-related, self-directed work teams. Remember, I talked about corporate, and that was one of the things that I was trained in, was the creation of self-directed work teams. You can almost think about some of this as, think about it as being in a corporate structure. In a corporate structure, you have departments, and each department has a work team. The big difference with this is our cause is a cause that we choose, and our work teams are self-directed because we get to determine what the goals are. We get to determine what the solutions are that we're looking to build. And again, you get a group of women together in a room, we are finding fairly consistently that these are the kinds of things. There's usually a group of women who want to talk about women's issues. A group wants to talk about youth. A group wants to talk about seniors. A group wants to talk about veterans, body, mind, spirit, wellness. And then there was another interesting one that popped up recently that I really loved, that we decided to call Love in Action. Lord knows we need more of that on the planet right now. And I actually met a young man recently who kind of blew me away with his Love in Action organization. So just know that you can put together a room full of women that you already know have a similar vision, or you can just get a big group of women together and then let them divide themselves up based on asking them to complete those 4 questions. Help them to figure out what their song is all about. And when they start to realize that there's other people in the room with a similar vision, you group them together and let them get to know each other. Because if they've got the same cause, if they've got a similar passion and purpose, get them together and get them talking. They will become fast and firm friends, and they're going to want to be talking some more to figure out what it is that they can come together and create. It's a powerful, powerful concept. Self-directed work teams that have a cause. It doesn't get any more powerful than that. And when you get people divided up into these work teams, the final step is to get them into creation. And again, when we were on the road this summer, some of the creations that we had the ability to be involved with were relatively simple creations. We got to put together these beautiful blankets that were going to Holocaust survivors. We were able to put together some Christmas decorations that were going to go into long-term care facilities for people struggling with cancer. That's a simple creation, but just know that's just a beginning point. We have the ability to come together and create community-based solutions. We don't need to look like Hurricane Katrina survivors waiting for the government to save us. We are powerful spiritual beings. We've been given the power to create our own solutions, to solve our own problems. And creating together is one of the most amazing things that people can do. So if you get a group of women together and you start to find that you've got different teams forming, these teams may find a focus in one of several ways. They may already share a common vision. That's just like me and the gal that met today and the 15 or 20 women that we're going to try to pull together, because we all share a common vision and we all have a piece to a larger super puzzle. Now, and they may already have developed a puzzle piece that fits into a larger puzzle. That was exactly what I realized with this young lady today. When I saw her presentation, I'm like, oh my God, she's already developed a piece of this larger puzzle that me and others have been talking about. You may end up with a team that wants to start from scratch and brainstorm about a single problem they would like to solve. That's okay too. It's not that important which of these places they start. Start with a shared vision. Start with multiple puzzle pieces that fit together into a larger puzzle, or start from scratch. It really doesn't matter. Just recognize that wherever there is commonality in terms of a desire to help solve a particular type of problem, there's more than one way to approach it. And you just need to allow things to unfold depending on which of these three categories that you might have a group in. Here's the most important thing to remember, and this one's a toughie, but it'll make or break a effort like this of connecting, collaborating, and creating. Because there's too many people who think you got to have a PhD in something in order to be able to be engaged in fixing something. And that's just not the truth of what I've seen. To me, the things I've seen, the people who are closest to the problem are the most likely to have the good ideas about how to solve it. Our experiences are the most important source of our knowledge, our wisdom, and our ability to solve problems. I want you to seriously hear that. Our experiences are the most important source of our knowledge, our wisdom, and our ability to solve problems. That's what I learned in corporate America. We had what was called continuous improvement teams. And we were constantly working with people in the shop who knew where the company was wasting money because there were problems that were not being fixed. And so that's where I was trained in continuous improvement, and these are just the typical steps in a problem solving and brainstorming process. You can take a team of women and do this. Talk about the problem, collect problems in the team. What are the problems that most seriously need to be solved? Select a problem, come to an agreement. If you need to select more than one, then come to agreement on how to prioritize them. Get into root cause analysis. This is where we lost a huge skill, most of us, when we grew up past 3 and 4 years old. It's the ability to ask why. Ask why something is done. Ask why something has happened. Ask why. And keep drilling down and asking why until you get to the root of the problem, the root cause. Because whatever solution you develop, whatever solution you want to implement, it better be something that gets to the root of the problem so that you solve the problem instead of putting band-aids on it. I am so sick and tired of watching communities band-aid problems when they could actually be solved and we could move on to something else. That's what I want to see. That's what we all deserve to see. And perhaps some of you have learned this continuous improvement process in a corporate job. That same process can work in our communities too. There's no reason people shouldn't come together and use that very same process, exactly what I was talking about here. Collect problems, select a problem, get into the root cause analysis, develop a solution, implement that solution. That is what needs to happen in our communities. And the people who live there have got to be part of that solution development process. They have to be. It's the only way to get out of the Band-Aid mentality. We have the power to do the change we want to see in the world. I say that again. We have the power to do the change we want to see in the world. Be the creator you were designed to be, and our creator will be there among us. It's part of what's been promised. My husband and I will continue our journey on the road. We'll be all over the place, helping people with community development projects, helping people to reclaim more of their health, their wealth, and their peace of mind. And we just can't wait to see some of you when we're out here on the road. And we'll put it right back to where we ended the last presentation. Why should we connect, collaborate, and create? Because even in the darkest of nights, there's hope. And as much as I prefer to be living in the space of being positive and seeing things in a positive light, I'll be the first to admit there is a lot of darkness going on in the world. But we have the ability to be the light. We have the ability to shine more light into those dark corners. And we have the ability to create solutions rather than band-aids. It's time for more health, more wealth, and more peace on the planet. It is absolutely time to create heaven on earth now. I hope you'll join us. I hope you reach out to me in whatever way works for you, and let me know if there's some way that I can support you in getting more people involved in this form of community development. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Have a blessed day, and I wish you well.